podcast live if you're watching us on YouTube, which I know you're not, and way delayed if you're waiting for this to get on Spotify. A couple months
Debate
behind
night.
on that. It is debate night. Looks like they're wrapping up, got their closing statements happening, and
Mm,
it was riveting. I'll tell you that,
yeah,
riveting.
I watched a few minutes
I
of it.
was
I
thinking
couldn't
to
couldn't
myself,
handle it.
I was thinking to myself two things. One, I wonder when the last, like, I'm gonna use the word respectable debate happened. Like, whenever I wasn't in debate in school or anything, but I think that I have a loose grasp of the concept of debate. And in my understanding, it would be a essentially a good-natured argument centered on the facts of a topic. I think that I think
That
that's
makes sense.
essentially what a debate should be.
Yep.
Um, where it's not it's not personal, and it's not um I don't know, it's not negative necessarily. It's centered on the topic and on the facts. That's what I would think a debate is supposed to be. And so then what happens is the person who is more prepared on the topic and on the facts is the one who comes out on top. That
Makes
that,
sense.
that would be what I understand a debate to be. But so when I say I wonder when the last respectable debate happened, presidential debate, I mean, when is the last time that those things happened in a debate and it wasn't just a whole bunch of that's not what I said, you said something worse, no, I didn't do that, you did a worse thing, because that's what this one was. And then the
Yeah,
other
that's
thing I
all
was
this one
thinking
was.
is I wonder if we will ever see a real debate in politics ever again in this country.
Man, I mean, I feel like we have to at some point. At some point, we'll have to get rid of the stupid people and get
Dude,
some respectable people in.
I'm too cynical, and I don't think that it's gonna get better. I
I
think we're
mean,
just gonna keep going downhill.
it sure feels that way. I mean, these two guys, or girl and guy, I mean, they're just stupid. All they,
Anyway,
yeah, it's such a mess. It's kind of
so
scary to
that's our
think
politics segment.
that one of those two people are going to be running our country soon.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Here
Oh,
we
that's a good
go.
one.
I
Is
went
that
and busted out some
yeah,
writer's tears. Yeah,
copper
I
pot?
have not. I haven't. You know what? The last time I drank this. Okay, so now I had to wash this bottle off. I picked it up out of the cabinet, and there was like sticky stuff here and here. And now that I'm about to pour this, I'm thinking about the last time I had this bottle out. And I'm pretty sure it was when you got back from Ireland
Hmm.
and had that redhead, and we were comparing them.
Yes, I do remember
So now I'm
that.
trying to think, we weren't eating something out there, were we?
No, we were just sitting out on the porch. I think we had a fire going.
Apparently, I had dirty hands or something whenever I took it back and put it away because it had gunk on the bottle. I had to
One
wash
of
it
us at
off.
least
It's
had
weird.
dirty hands.
Yeah, but it's cleaned up now.
Good.
This is a good one.
That is a good one.
Yep. You just sipping on water today?
I Yeah, for now. Today this evening I've converted over to water because I just finished off two old fashions, so I'm kind of done for the
Oh,
evening.
nice.
Yeah, Anna. So since we moved to this house, we haven't had a freezer up until just like a few days ago,
Oh yeah. Yep.
which means we didn't have ice cubes, which means we
Mm-hmm.
didn't have old fashions.
Mm-hmm.
So tonight was the first night.
Or much of any cocktails.
Much of any food, cocktails, drinks, you name it, we didn't really have it here. Um, but now that we have a refrigerator and a freezer and another refrigerator and a freezer, we have two now. We went from one little mini fridge to having two full size fridge and refrigerators, or refrigerator and freezers.
Nice.
So all
Sweet.
kinds of space. So
Good.
anyway, we made it old fashioned and then finished the first round off. And then Anna was like, "Yeah, I think I could probably have another one." So
Nice.
I made another round, and
I
I think
probably
that's
could
good
have
enough.
had one.
Yep, yep. So I had a friend call me today or text me today
Okay.
from out of town, and he said, "Hey, I've got some friends traveling to Kansas City, and
All right.
they're asking me to give them recommendations for barbecue and
Mm-hmm.
coffee."
Okay.
So I went through and thought about it pretty hard, and picked my top five barbecue places and my top five coffee shops in Kansas City,
All right.
and sent it over to him.
Okay.
What are your top five barbecue restaurants
Well,
and coffee shops?
man, I haven't really thought of that maybe in a long, long time.
Right?
But
Yeah,
let
it
me
was a little
think if I
tricky for
can
me. It
let
took
me
me
think if
half
I
a
can.
day just to figure it out.
All right. Well, let me see if I can do it in just like a minute or two. I gotta get a pencil. All right. So here's what. So I'm probably, and I'm a little bit biased on this, probably just because of, well, all of these are going to be uh kind of probably based on I've had I've had it more often or more recently. I
Yeah,
think
and like
that's gonna heavily influence my top
yeah, for
five.
sure. And like when I sent him the text saying, "Hey, I said this is my favorite. I don't know if they're the best ones,
Mm-hmm.
but as far as I'm concerned, these are the places that I would go."
Okay. Um, boy.
It was tough, a lot harder than I thought it would be. What was the last
Uh,
barbecue restaurant you ate at?
what was the last one I ate? The last rest barbecue restaurant I ate at would it be okay. I didn't eat there, but I picked up Wanda barbecue, probably most
Mm,
recent. Which that would be on my top five
okay,
anyway.
yeah,
Because man, I know that I think it's not really controversial, but polarizing maybe. Their ribs, I like them a lot.
Okay.
Um, but if you're a slaps guy and you like slaps ribs, which I do, but some people don't. Some people they're so much different. I think that you can put slaps ribs right up there because they got like a seasoning on them. They're
Hmm.
good,
Yeah.
but they're all trimmed and tidy. And Wyandotte barbecue ribs are not trimmed and not tidy. They are greasy and meaty and
Yeah.
oh man.
Man, I probably haven't had Wyandotte in, I bet it's been 15 years.
Yeah. You need to give them a go.
I do. I'm never over there.
Yeah. It's
You and I
so
should go there sometime.
yeah, we should. We totally should. So I mean, Slaps and Wyandotte are right up there, top two, probably.
Okay, well, there's your two.
Um,
Which one would you put number one out of those two?
I would I would probably rank Slaps higher than Wyandotte because overall it's a better place. Like they have more great food, whereas
Yeah.
Wyandotte, I really, really like their ribs and I like their beef sandwich. Um, and but like when I think about Wyandotte, I don't there's there's never any thought about sides. So I mean it's fries there, basically.
Right.
Barbecue and fries.
Yep.
But
Simple.
Slaps, they've got the
Dude,
full
they have some
package. I mean,
great sides.
they do. Their sausage is great. It's
That
Christmas
jalapeno
sausage,
sausage or
which,
whatever it is.
oh,
Ooh.
it's so good. So Slaps would edge out Wyandotte, even though I like Wyandotte ribs better than Slaps ribs. But I like Slaps ribs a lot. They're just
Yeah.
totally different.
Yep.
And really, even though it's not, um, I mean, meat wise, it's pretty good. The last time we ate there was with you, Chops in Smithville, and they were struggling with
Oh,
like as far as service,
yeah.
but I do like their meat and I like their convenience. I like
Sure.
that they're over here.
Yes.
So Chops kind of just like almost default makes my list because it's one that I would be like, yeah, let's go to Chops.
Because
I
it's so
like their
quick
meat.
and
I
easy.
think they
Yeah.
have good meat. I think they have good sauce. Uh, so that one, um, the last time I went to Gates, it was frustrating.
Oh, the last time I went to Gates, well, the time before the last time I went to Gates, I'm like, I'm never coming back here. And then I was like, I
Yeah,
gotta
that
give them a second chance because I can't base my opinion on them off of one visit. I went back and I'm like, I'm never coming back here.
yeah, that's what I said last time I went. And it's not because I don't like their food either.
Yeah,
It's just their menu is confusing and they're they're not very accommodating.
yeah.
Like if you want to order what was it that we really wanted to order? And they were like, "Oh, we don't do that by the pound anymore. You can order this sandwich and it comes on there." It's like,
What?
I don't want that on a sandwich. I'm like, I want, and so it was
I
just
love their
weird.
sauce though.
I we we never don't have their sauce in our
Yeah,
refrigerator.
dude, their sauce is so good.
Their sauce is amazing. I mean, one of the things I love about their sauce is you eat their sauce and 3 hours later, that little celery seed pops out from
Yes,
your teeth and you crunch it and you're like,
yes, yes.
that
And
date
you can
sauce
put it on
was
anything. You
great.
can put it on some
Hmm.
crappy frozen chicken nuggets, and it
Oh
makes
yeah.
them good.
Oh yeah. Yep. So, but I wouldn't probably send someone to Gates.
Yeah. So okay, so you've
I'm
got
trying to
slaps,
think.
Wyandotte, chops. So you got two
Yep.
more.
Okay, two more. Man, um, hmm. So there's so many that have closed down that I used to go to.
Yep. So
Like
many.
Mudhole was good, but they've been
Mudhole was
gone
really
for a
good.
while.
And Jousting
Uh,
Pigs used to be good, but since they
oh
switched
yeah,
ownerships,
not the same.
it's just not as good as it was.
Um, boy, I don't know. I don't go to a lot of them.
What about Smokehouse, man? Like I used to love Smokehouse, but the last, I
In
don't know,
Gladstone,
yeah, 4 or 5 times I've been there, it's just not good.
really, I haven't been in quite some time. So
Yeah.
I remember liking it.
Same. I used to
Um,
love Smokehouse. Their burnt ends were
Anna,
so good.
Anna loves their beans. I think they do a great
Their
job on
beans,
beans.
yeah, they have
And
top quality beans.
we used to every once in a while just if we were going to be doing a meal and baked beans, barbecue beans sounded good with it. Or like if I had the smoker going, was smoking some stuff at the house, we'd run down and get, you know, how I don't know, a quart or 2 quarts or whatever, however they sell it
Yeah.
of their beans because they're real good.
Yeah, their
Yeah,
beans are pretty good.
I'd be all right with having smokehouse on there.
Okay, so that's four.
And then hmm,
What are some other ones? We've got Joe's, Q39,
oh,
uh,
char bar.
Char Bar. Those are all really good ones.
They are really good. I haven't had Joe's very often. I do like it. I like their seasoned fries. Uh, Q39, I've had great food there.
Yeah.
I've had real bad service once and good service another time. Uh, man, I've had great food at
The
Char
thing
Bar.
I don't like about like Q39 is it's kind of a fancy place. You go sit down, a
It
waiter comes to
is.
your table. It's
Yes.
not your traditional like barbecue
Hmm.
style. Like Jack Stack and Q39 are both that way, where it's more of a fancy environment, but they produce a
Right.
good product.
Char Bar is the same.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hmm, I don't know. Those three
Those are all really
are
good ones.
all like, yeah, they're
Yeah.
all like
Would
kind of
you
the
put
same. They're almost the same.
would you put any of those three above any of the other ones you've already talked about?
Oh yeah, I would probably put um I would probably put Q39 and Char Bar above uh Smokehouse
Smokehouse.
and Chops probably for quality of food and meat.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
So that would make my list more like Slaps, Wyandotte, Q39, Char Bar. And I might as well put Joe's on there because Joe's is kind of iconic.
It is very
Like
much so. Yeah.
if you're looking for Kansas City barbecue and you want the like, I mean,
Man,
you want
it's
to
just
be able to say you
consistently
went to
good.
Joe's.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's top quality, but also if you've eaten barbecue in Kansas City, hopefully you can say you've been to Joe's
Right. Yeah,
in the gas
for sure.
station.
Yeah, 100%.
The restaurant is the restaurant Joe's takes away some of
Yes.
the takes away some of the neatness. It's
It's
still a
it's
great
nice if
spot.
you don't want to have to fight for a table.
Hmm.
Like I've done the gas station enough times to where I'm like, I don't need to go in there and fight for a table. I'm fine with going to the
Sure.
restaurant and sitting down.
Yes. Yep.
But there's nothing like going to the gas station.
Hmm. Yeah. Now coffee shops.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be able to come up with a top five because I don't ever go to coffee shops.
Right. I hear you.
So if I could name the last five that I went to, let's see here. The last five coffee shops I even went to, and I'm not going to count running through the drive-through at Scooters.
Yeah, don't count that one.
Um,
No Dunkin' Donuts, no
although
McDonald's.
here's what I will say for Scooters that I think puts them above a lot of the drive-through coffee shops like that. Um, Starbucks, Caribou, Dunkin'. Um, what are some of the other ones like that?
Seven Brew. Um,
Oh yeah, I don't know Seven Brew much, but
there aren't.
those
Yeah.
kinds of shops, they're all if you order well, and even another shop that does that I do go to, I don't ever get their drinks, I just get their beans. But Friendly Bean does the same thing. If you order a latte, if you order a small or a medium or a large, it's the same amount of espresso.
Right. I hate that.
And so if you aren't thinking and you order a medium or a large, it's like coffee tinted frothed
Yes.
milk.
Right. It's not good.
Scooters, I give them credit for this. They increase their shots. A small has one, medium has two, and a large has three shots of
Yeah, that's how
espresso.
it should be.
And yeah, and I say, hey, that good job. So,
Right.
um, they're also cheaper than a lot of the other ones. Anyway, okay, so the last five coffee shops that I've been in, um, I mean, I've been in Friendly Bean, but only for coffee beans. Uh, I've been in that one there on North Oak, uh, that Andrew
Oh,
works at,
Renegade.
Renegade. Um, dude, I'm gonna have to go back years now.
That's awesome.
um,
The last coffee shop I was at was in Homer, Alaska.
oh yeah,
I don't remember the
I
name of it
haven't been
though.
to that one.
I went to I went to
So
a
I
few
mean,
different coffee shops up there.
potentially Hammerhand is in the last five that I've been to, and I haven't been there in probably 2 or 3 years.
Dang, son.
Dude, I never ever go in coffee shops.
I mean, that's the way it should be. You're making it at home just like you want it.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I haven't been downtown to any of those guys in so long.
Yeah, same. Man, the last downtown coffee shop I went to was probably Messenger with you like 4 years ago or something.
Yeah, that's probably what did we what were we down there for?
I don't know, but we went to
I
Messenger.
remember walking in there. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Huh.
remember why we were down there.
Yeah, man, I don't have a top five coffee shops.
That's
I
funny.
mean, there's some coffee shops that I know of, but I can't really but I don't go. So
Sure. It's hard to
I used to
recommend
really
something that you
like,
don't go to.
that one over in Raytown, the Nettie's.
Oh, yeah. You and I went there one time.
Uh-huh. Oh, Head Rush. I've been there in the last 5 years. But man, I don't think Head Rush's coffee is like really amazing.
Right.
It's not my thing. I would probably, what's that one? Um, what'd you put as your number one?
Hammerhand.
Okay. What else?
Basically, my number one was Hammerhand because that's the one I go to the most, which is like two
Hmm.
times a year.
Yeah.
And that I always have their coffee in my cabinet.
Yeah.
Number two, I put I think it was Oddly Correct.
That's the one I was trying to think of. I would have to put that on a list because I really like their
Yeah,
philosophy or whatever.
right.
Like I love that, and I think they've gotten away from. I think they offer more syrups and things nowadays.
I feel like they
But
have.
back in the
It's been
day,
a while since I've been there.
but back in the day, you know,
Oh yeah,
8 years
the
ago
best.
or 10 years ago or whatever, it was like if you ordered a latte, like you weren't gonna order some sugar-free vanilla or
Right,
caramel or whatever.
right.
They wouldn't make it. They didn't,
No,
and that's my style. That's my
yeah,
style of coffee.
right.
Um,
And then they would also, if you did try to order it, they would tell you, one, we don't offer that, and two, here's why you don't want it, which I think is pretty great.
yeah, yeah, they should be on a list.
I think
There was another one down there, PTs,
I
right?
did Hammerhand, Oddly, Messenger, PT, and Renegade as the top
Okay,
as five choices.
okay.
Renegade is just
Have
okay
you?
to me. I've been there a couple times and it's not
Hmm.
it's fine. I think
Hmm.
they're a new enough shop and they haven't really stepped it up to the next level yet. But it is good enough to send someone there from out of town.
Sure.
And that's why I
Yeah.
put it on there.
Good. All right. Yeah, that's a solid list.
And then my barbecue was number one. Uh, let's see, how did I do it? Um, Slaps was number one. Joe's was number two. Um, I'm drawing a blank on what order I put them in. I I don't remember the order at this point. I know Slaps was number one. I know Joe's was number two, but I don't remember the order from here on out. I put uh, Scott's Kitchen
Okay.
and um, Q39 and Jack Stack.
I At Scott's Kitchen, I've only eaten there once, and it was breakfast.
Whoa.
And so I think I got these breakfast tacos, but I was hemming and hawing because the menu was up and there was barbecue on it. And I was like, man, I've heard that barbecue is real good here. And the waitress was like, well, get some. And I was like, uh,
It's 8:30 in the morning.
yeah. And I was like, um, okay, what should I get? So I had like breakfast with a side of barbecue there, and that's the only time I've had
That's awesome. Dude, they do a
it.
great job of barbecue. Like I am super impressed with them.
Our small
They
group
also have
guys met there for
they have good
breakfast
sides.
on Friday. Oh,
The
do they?
what?
Yeah. My small group guys met there for breakfast on Friday.
Oh, nice.
I didn't go though. I had another breakfast to be at.
Nice.
So,
You can only go to one
yep.
breakfast. You can't go to two.
I know. Well, yeah, I guess you could, but not at the same time. You have to.
Unless they were at the same place.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thought. These were not.
No.
These were not
Okay.
even in the same state.
Oh
Mm-mm.
wow. Okay.
Yep. Oh man.
Man, that,
Um.
all that food talk is making me hungry.
Yeah. I had. I'm not hungry. I had. I had a pretty good dinner.
I I had to take the kids to the dentist today at 3 o'clock. So I worked.
Okay.
I ate a banana out the door, and then I worked, and then I left work, came home, went and picked the kids up from school,
Mm-hmm.
brought them to the dentist. After the dentist, we went to Chick-fil-A, which was like at 3:45, 3:30.
Okay.
Went to Chick-fil-A, ate at Chick-fil-A, and that was the last time I ate.
Mm.
So I'm feeling hungry at
Yeah.
10:20 at night.
We had tacos for dinner. Well, like
Ooh.
they call them walking tacos. That's what they do it at school. So it's basically you take some Doritos and you
Mm-hmm.
crush them up in the bottom of your bowl. They do it in a bag at
Right.
school. You get your little bag of Doritos and then you dump all your stuff in there. So we did it in a bowl here.
Elliot
So
was
it was
just
good.
talking about that tonight. That's what he said he wanted for dinner this evening was walking tacos.
Mm. That was Ryan's choice.
That's pretty funny. They both they both wanted that. Elliot didn't get them.
Yeah. Oh man. Maybe another time.
Maybe another time.
Yeah, Anna went to the store and had Ryan with her, and so Ryan was helping get all the stuff. And Anna said they went into the chip aisle, and Ryan's just goes and starts getting bags of chips, and because we need four of them because there's four of us eating these walking tacos, but she's getting the full size Dorito bags. And it's like, no,
That's a lot of walking tacos.
we're gonna get one of those, and we're gonna use
Yeah,
bowls.
and those things are like $6 a bag these days.
Mm-hmm. Dude,
Oh man,
chips are expensive.
we still need to try them chips we saw over at the Casey's, the funky
I
ones.
know. Yeah, they had some good sounding combinations.
Mm-hmm.
I like that you got your deer hung up here behind you on the
Yeah.
fireplace.
So I'm spinning this way. So right about where that's hard to do. Somewhere where the deer's at. Um,
Yeah.
there was a screw in the brick already. and that's why
Mm-hmm.
it's over there at the side of the fireplace.
Perfect.
I'm like, I don't want to drill a hole
I like it.
in that
Yeah.
stuff. I'll just use one that's already there.
Is there is there one on the other side?
No, there's just
Because
one right there.
I man, because I could
There's
borrow you
another
my
one. Let's see. There's another one like way, probably outside of the video,
yeah
way up
yeah.
top, but it's also not centered. There are not
Hmm.
any holes or any screws centered in the fireplace.
I can loan you my scraggly deer
To put on the other side.
out in the garage. You could uh-huh. You have two little funky deer
Yeah.
hanging on your wall.
Hey, two's better than one.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be
Brandon
fun.
came over. I don't know when it was. Monday night, maybe? No, it was Sunday. Sunday, Brandon came over and he's like, "Why do you have that thing hanging there?" And I was like, "Because there was a screw there." He's like, "Oh, okay."
Yep. Makes sense to me.
So Brandon came over with his kids, and Ellett and Saxton uh, took Ellett's BB gun over to our little pond over here and
Uh-huh.
shot and killed, I don't know, three or four frogs and skinned them and cleaned them, and now their legs are in my freezer.
Nice. Are
And
they,
so,
how big are they? Are they
I
eatable?
mean, oh yeah, definitely eatable.
Why didn't you just cook them right up?
Well, because we had just eaten.
Oh, nice.
So they threw them in the freezer, and they're gonna come back over here and catch a few more, and then we're gonna skillet fry
Nice.
them up. And
I've got a gig. I should bring it over
you
there.
do,
Leave it. Uh-huh.
man. I've When I was a kid, that's what Jeremy and I would go down to the pond at my parents' house and gig them.
Mm-hmm.
But I never shot them with a BB gun before.
No, me either. I've been frog gigging down on the creek like in the night with spotlights and all that.
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
Hmm.
We got all sorts of them.
But yeah,
That
they were
was
both taking turns at shooting the frogs, and they thought that was pretty fun.
that is pretty fun. Ah, I haven't eaten frog legs in quite some time.
Oh, dude. The last time I ate frog legs was at Lambert's in Springfield or wherever that is, Ozark.
Mm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
Elliot ordered a bunch of them, and I ate some of
Oh,
them.
really?
Yeah,
Nice.
he loves those things.
They're pretty. I mean, it's kind of it's it's meat. It's just light
Yeah,
meat, but it's
yep,
kind of fun that it's frog legs.
right. Yeah, yep.
Oh man, that man, you probably do pretty good over there at Jeremy's. There's some big old bullfrogs over there.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of them.
Should should go and gig a whole bunch of them and have a fry. Big
That'd be
old
fun.
frog leg dinner.
We should do it.
My my kids have never eaten them.
Oh yeah,
Nah,
you think they would?
I don't know.
Kinsley won't touch them. She's just like, no way, no, I ain't doing
It's
it.
just it's chicken. It's the same thing as chicken.
Dude, it's the same thing. Like they don't even taste different.
Oh
um,
man.
but yeah, that'd be fun. Get a whole bunch of them and cook them up and eat them.
Yep. Man.
When Brandon was over, Saxton, his oldest son, was here, and he and Elliot love fishing together. and they were looking at that pond out back, the neighbor's pond.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, dude, we should go over and fish that thing. And I'm like, yeah, we should, but we got to talk to the neighbors first. So we worked up a plan, and I drove the boys to the neighbor's house and went and knocked on the door and asked for permission to fish the pond. And they were like, yeah, no problem, anytime. So
Awesome.
so we hopped the fence and went over there and went fish. We fished for a couple hours over there on Sunday. Caught a bunch of bass.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Sweet.
But
They seem like good people.
seemed like it. I think we maybe woke her up. I think she was
Oh,
taking a
bummer.
little Sunday afternoon nap because it was like two
Ah,
o'clock Sunday afternoon. Um, she seemed like she had just got up, but she was like, "Yeah, it's no problem." She's like, "Anytime." She's like, "There's a bunch of snapping turtles in there," and we were like, "Okay." Uh, but yeah, she seemed real nice. We exchanged numbers, and uh, so yeah, it was a good
how
little
old?
fishing hole. How
Are they
old?
older or? Yeah.
I would say not a lot older than us.
Hmm.
Maybe 50.
Cool. Hmm. That's not a
No,
lot.
that's not very much older than us. But
Mm-mm.
I didn't talk to the guy. It was just the girl. And she seemed super friendly.
Perfect.
Yep. So got that out of the way. Now I need to go talk to the other neighbor, see if she needs some help around there trimming up some trees or something.
Hmm. Yep. Get your foot in.
Yep.
I went and talked to one of my neighbors tonight, old Frank Thomas.
Frank Thomas, he used to play for the
Uh-huh.
White Sox.
Yeah, yeah. This guy it's probably the same guy.
I'm sure. Big Hurt, they called
Yeah, he looks like he's been hurt before.
him.
Yeah, old Frank Thomas, he just lives right up the road from me.
That's pretty
And
cool.
I've talked to him once before, and he lives there by himself. It's a pretty good sized house. It's a big old ranch with a full basement and a awesome shop. Like
Mm.
his his shop next to his house is amazing. I mean, just nice big building. And there he's got Bobcat and a little, I don't know what the tractor is, just a little old tractor, four wheeler, this kind of stuff sitting out in there in the shed or in the shop. But the last time I stopped and talked to him, I realized that like he's in his 90s, I think he
Whoa.
said. And his wife died sometime. Initially, he told me that she just died. And so he's there by himself now. And then he started talking about the people that he couldn't believe that I had lived in that house for 3 years, for over 3 years, because he he knew when those other people bought it, and eventually I'm figuring out I think his wife died maybe like 5 or 6 years ago,
Oh, wow.
and
He's lost the
he's
concept of
like,
time.
yeah, his memory is not working for him real that great. Uh, but anyway, but I chit chatted with him, and he said the same thing multiple times, like multiple things he would. repeat himself, 25 minutes, 20 minutes later or whatever. I stood and talked to him for, 30, 40 minutes. And he repeated himself on multiple occasions. So his memories messing with him. Anyway, so I was walking over there and I've been seeing that somebody's been doing work over there around his house. And I wondered if it was a son or grandson or something. Because I'd seen the bobcat moving around and they moved a bunch of dirt in there. He's fixing the grate in his yard. And so I was walking down there today and it's him. He's running that bobcat.
Oh wow.
And dude, he doesn't use a cane or a walker, but the way he walks, um, kind of makes Lou look real good.
What?
Dude, he's walking across the dirt after driving that bobcat around, and I was like, "Oh no, this guy!" I mean, he takes, he probably has a maybe like 6-inch stride. Like I think that
Wow.
when he's shuffling along, when he moves both of his feet, he's probably only going like 6 or 8 inches. Like
Dang.
it's this super super slow shuffle that he's doing across the front yard,
Ooh.
and he's walking across dirt clods and stuff. He didn't go down. I mean, he
Is he
just
even lifting his feet, or is he just pushing them along?
not. He's not hardly lifting his feet.
Yeah.
Um, but he's getting in that bobcat and cruising it around, and he kept saying, "I'm not very good at that thing," and you can kind of tell like it's I'm not great at them, but I've been putting the hours in and getting better here
Is it a
recently.
wheelie or a track?
It's the wheels, and here's Dan. So so yeah, he said mostly what he's been doing is moving dirt with it, and he'll dump it and get it somewhat smoothed out, and he gets off and grabs a rake and goes to
Oh
raking
man.
it. So
Wow.
so that's what he's been doing up there. But yeah, he's I mean he's still getting out there and
That's
working in his
awesome. Yeah,
yard.
I love it.
I can't remember. I think he worked for GM maybe for years and years. So I think maybe he's like an electrician or something in a auto plant. I don't know. His parents were farmers, but dude, his parents his parents were farmers almost 100 years ago.
Dang.
You know,
Yeah, that's wild.
like he talks about the family farm, and I'm like, oh, you
Well,
guys still have
if he's
property up there?
90 something, his parents were farming 100 years ago.
Yes, his parents were farming 100 years ago because his parents were children of farmers.
Right.
Like
That's
his
awesome.
grandparents farmed 150 years ago,
That's
somewhere
pretty
up
cool.
north. Hmm. Yeah,
Hi, Dan.
I'm gonna keep stopping and talking to him.
For sure.
Maybe. Yep.
See if he
A
needs some
funny
help with
thing.
that bobcat.
Yeah, I should. If I would get over there earlier, uh, yeah, I'd offer to give him a hand with some of that stuff. But a funny thing is that was on our walk this evening. Girls and I went on a walk after they did their homework. So we leave our house, walk across the street, and we get maybe 50 yards down the road, on the other side of the street. And Ryan has a scooter, so they're just jacking around, racing, Evabel on foot and Ryan on the scooter, whatnot. And a car comes from in that little neighborhood toward us. I'm like, hey guys, there's a car coming, get off the road. They get over to the side. This car comes by, and I'm standing there. I'm smoking my pipe. I got a beer in my hand.
On the
And I
walk?
just, yeah.
That's
And I just,
awesome.
yeah. You don't smoke your pipe and carry a beer when you go for a walk?
I don't remember. I don't think I've ever done that, but I
I
might start.
I would say that my walks are far less aerobic and much more leisurely. That's what I'm
Anaerobic.
going for. Leisure, yeah, and
A pipe in one
not
hand and a
aerobic.
beer in the other.
Yeah. So anyway, so I probably looked, interesting, and I gave the old two-finger wave to this car that comes by us, and that person turns their head and looks over at me and waves, and then drives off the road. Like,
Yeah.
because there's a bit of a curve there. So like maybe 10 yards behind me, they're like, because it drops down.
Oh,
Like they
no.
just re they they just re-asphalted that road over there, and there's a bit of a ditch there, so it drops down a good 10 to 12 inches right
Oh,
right
man.
there.
That's hard on the undercarriage.
Yes, it is. I tried not to stare. I mean, I did spin around and look, and then I turned back around because I'm sure that it was embarrassing. And then also, I'm pretty sure it was probably embarrassing too when they came back about 20 minutes later and drove past us again.
They
So,
look at you that time.
no, it was like this on the way back through.
That's so good.
If you're watching the podcast, sorry for the distraction there. They're not. Dan, what's that
Hmm.
hat you got on?
I just wanted to match everybody with
Yeah,
see if
I
I can.
appreciate it.
I do too. I
I don't know. Can you see it? Can it?
No,
keep
you're
blurry.
There.
you're always
Is it
blurry
backwards?
until we stop recording.
Ah,
No,
Yeah, I
you
can't.
can
it's
hear
not
I
me.
can't see
backwards.
what
It's
it says.
just
So it's Endeavor. I'm gonna have to read it. It's my own. Incendiar Navas, which means burn the boats.
ah
Um, it's the team motto. Like get after it. Don't go. No going
okay.
back.
Yeah.
Uh, it comes from old. Now that I'm trying to tell you why it is burn the boats,
Hmm.
I will now forget why it is burn the boats
Hmm.
because it's been a while since I read up on the team ethos. I believe it has to do with old 1519 and conquest of Mexico. Uh, Cortez ordered his boats to be burned so that the sailors would realize that they were now soldiers and they had no choice but to continue on their endeavor. Well, I think they actually, oddly, they burned Old Endeavor so that they wouldn't be able to go back
Yeah.
and they would become committed to the course at hand. So,
Hmm.
um, little team motto. I might have won
It's
that by
kind of an
winning a shooting competition.
Oh,
So,
nice.
nice. It's kind of an
mhm.
anti-mutiny act.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're the in charge, but no one wants to follow you, and so you just make it so that they don't have any other choice.
And you can go back to
You're
the
either
beach,
on
but
your
there's
own.
nothing there.
Yeah, you're either on your own, It's like, did you remember the movie? I got to watch this movie again. It's the
Okay.
same concept as one of the first scenes in this movie about World War II called Enemy at the Gates. Do you remember this movie?
Oh yeah.
I love that
And
movie.
the Russians are getting these new troops and they're sending them into battle. And he says, "One man takes the rifle, the other man takes the bullets. When the first man falls with the rifle, the second man picks up the bullet, picks up the rifle, and continues." And so they sent half their soldiers out with one stripper clip of ammo, and they were to follow the guy. And if the guy fell first, they were to pick up his rifle and continue. And
That's
Yeah.
rough.
all that was waiting them if they retreated was machine gun fire from their own
From
side.
the beach. Yeah. Hmm.
So I don't think this was quite that bad, but it was. I think that there was another besides Cortez that did the same thing, and he might be part of our
Hmm.
team ethos too. But yeah. So what did I miss, or should I just make up something to go with at this point? Let you guys in on
Well,
what I've been up to.
yeah. Just give us what's up with you. We have been chit chatting about Jimmy's Day,
Mm-hmm.
about top five
Barbecue.
barbecue and coffee places in Kansas City.
Mm.
A little tiny bit about whiskey.
Well, I'll tell you a little update from this weekend. This weekend,
Okay.
one of our guys that couldn't make it to the team meetup was, and the team meetup, it's just about half a dozen, 8 guys that meet on Zoom to talk shop about our, goals, how we're doing on our monthly and weekly action plans, things like that.
Hmm.
We got a lawyer, a doctor, a oil rig um, lead for some kind of an oil rig operation down in Texas. We got a sheriff deputy, or a sheriff, not a sheriff deputy, a sheriff, a me, whatever you call me, and then
We call
one
you Dan.
contractor. And I feel like that covers everything. All the guys. Oh, a computer tech guy, that's the Columbia guy, and then an airline pilot. And he is from, well, he's always all over the place. He flies back and forth from Singapore to usually Los Angeles. And he's actually from Singapore. And he's talking
Huh.
about relocating, possibly when he retires, relocating somewhere else. But so anyway, we got together out at the property this weekend, and we had a mighty fine get together that I hosted at the old Rock House, and first time ever meeting the guys. And so I'm gonna have to bring up my hat again. We had a
Yeah.
shooting. We had one guy who recently did a shooting instruction. He didn't train to be a coach, but he just did the shooting handgun personal defense 3-day with the Warrior Poet Society. And I'm gonna take one of my earbuds out. And so he had all of his printouts, and it was fresh in his mind. So he took over a pistol training course that we did that was pretty handy. He kind of ran us through just briefly a bunch of the drills that they did, 6 or 7 of them. And what was the other thing? A guy did a jujitsu self-defense class, and then also a 1-hour workout, which was Saturday morning, and I am still sore from it. And this guy, Ryan, the lawyer, said that it was a warm-up. And I mean, I kept up for the 45 minutes,
Is
but
Ryan pretty fit?
he's pretty fit. Yeah. He's like 5'9", might be giving him credit to say 5'9", maybe 5'8", 5'7", and 215, 20 pounds of like solid gorilla. I mean, yeah. He's like he's CrossFitter fit. He's not like sorry,
I
scratching
thought
my
you
back.
were about to
He's
take
not
your shirt off and
Yeah, I was like, dude, we're gonna see some
show you what I've got
abs.
from my weekend. Yeah. No, it's not showing. It's showing internally, but it's not showing.
Mm.
Yeah, so I kept up and I was probably middle, I don't know, I was probably middle of the pack until it came to running, and then I probably was like a little ahead of schedule on running. But we ran a little over a half mile at the end of it. And then we just hung out, ate meat, cooked over the fire, talked, and shot. Yeah. I think I covered everything pretty much. Oh, and fished. We also fished.
swam.
But and a couple of us swam. We have some of those stand-up paddle boards. Is that what those are called?
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
those
SUP.
stand-up paddle boards, SUPs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we
Mm-hmm.
swam off of those. And actually, I know you were draining your pool this week, but it was actually the water was real nice this weekend. If the temperature cooled down, but the water in the lake was still nice. And the steam
Yeah.
was coming off the lake every morning. It was pretty cool looking too. So,
Yep.
yeah, I got a lot of ideas of things I could implement at men's retreats out there. And we did some shooting drills. I think I was telling you about this, Darcy. We did like your typical, like trying to mitigate trigger, what do you call it? Trigger anticipation, shot
Mm.
anticipation. And then we did some cadence shooting where you're trying to shoot your shots at the same, you're trying to get them inside of your target, but you're trying to hit them pop, 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 pause, and then go back three sets of 5 and get the cadence of them to where on the shot timer, it looks like it was like rhythm, basically. And my theory is that all of it is to distract. Well, I mean, it's to increase your skill, but largely to distract you from the act of shooting. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like you're giving yourself something else to think about instead of like
Recoil.
squeezing the trigger and then thinking about the recoil and trying to lean into the recoil. And so, yeah. So you're cadence shooting so that you're really more focused on trying to get the cadence right, but keep them in a decently small group, all center of mass in a circle. And
Cadence shooting is
yeah,
probably also going to be so. Like one of the things that our instructor for when we do our qualification stuff, which that reminds me, we got to get signed up for that.
Yeah, you got to get us signed up for that.
I know. So one of the things that he kind of like goes like just reminds us of the entire time that we're shooting is that when you're shooting in a self-defense type of situation or scenario, there's got to be a balance between speed and accuracy.
mm-hmm,
So you need to be able to sacrifice a little bit of accuracy for speed, but then you don't want to go so fast that you are sacrificing all of your accuracy and you're just getting the shots off quick. So like
mm-hmm,
that's one of the things that he says over and over, and especially when he starts looking at um, a target. Like if we've sent 15 shots down range and are grouping in a 3-inch 4-inch group, then most likely we can be quicker
Mm-hmm.
And if we've sent 15 shots down and we are all over the silhouette, then potentially we need to focus in, take a little bit more time, and just like find that balance where you're getting the shots off quickly with sufficient accuracy, you know. So, which again,
Yeah.
there's all sorts of philosophies on that, and not necessarily one is gonna always come out on top as the better. But if you're talking center mass shooting, it's kind of a good thing to think about, is the balance between speed and accuracy, and being
Mm-hmm.
okay with not stacking your rounds when you're putting it all in the chest.
Yeah. Well, this is one of the things that our guy, who was not technically a firearms instructor, he just took the class. He mentioned from his class, which was
Mm-hmm.
that their instructors basically said there is more than one way to keep your group small,
Sure.
and like could be that it is being slower and more methodical about pulling the trigger, but at the end of the day, it's just holding the gun steady while pulling the trigger. And so the
Mm-hmm.
faster you can do that, it really, he basically said 90% technique, 10% or 80% technique, 20% art. Like you're going to feel different. And the thing you think you're focusing on is going to be different to get your accuracy down than like the next guy. And some of the drills were about like not spending so much time settling your second and third and fourth shot, but actually practicing like anticipating where the dot or the sight is going to be and going ahead and pulling the second shot off so that you can increase your speed without always waiting like you're saying, to be like tearing out a bigger and bigger hole dead center when
Mm-hmm.
a center mass shot would do for the scenario.
Right.
Um, that do you guys do and you may have said this before, do you guys do multi target, or is it always single target in this your self-defense class?
um,
It's single target.
it's single target.
Always single target.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was kind of like we've led up to multi-target, and
So,
multi-target just, yeah, go ahead.
a long time ago, well, before this instructor, we did we did multi-targets. Do you remember that, Jimmy, where he would have a target that was a silhouette that would be at standing height, and he had a silhouette that would be at like kneeling height, and a silhouette that was on the ground. So that's
Mm-hmm.
like that was sideways. So, and the theory is, again, we're doing specific like church security type training. Like we're trying to be ready for a scenario that's going to happen in a crowded situation and with, one or two assailants. So this exercise was a different instructor, and his theory on that was you you shoot until the shooter is incapacitated. And there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing saying that once they go down on the ground that they're not going to continue to fire. And
Mm-hmm.
so he would do an exercise where he would tell you which one to shoot at, the standing, kneeling, or laying, and you had to do that. So that we
Mm-hmm.
haven't done any exercises like that in quite some time.
Okay. So I think that
unless you count the numbers off to the side of the target, the silhouette.
Oh, that's enough. Yeah, yeah, we do that. So our qualifying targets are just a standard silhouette. Our training targets are a silhouette, and then they have six circles around the perimeter.
Mhm.
And so he'll call out a number, and you got to put 2 rounds in that number, and then 2 rounds in center mass or something like that. He'll do different things.
Mhm.
Or where you have to shoot, you shoot in sequence, and so you got to go 1, 2, 2 and 1, 2 and 2, 2 and 3, and you can't move to the next one until you have 2 in there in the
Mhm.
circle. And these are what, 4-inch circles, probably.
Yeah, something like that.
I think.
Yeah,
And
Like
3 or
then
at
4.
7 or 10
you
yards, what's
start
the
out with
range?
like, yeah, those are probably at 7 or something.
Something, yeah.
Yeah. And so you start out
Mhm.
you start out with 15 rounds or whatever, and see if you can make it all three, or all, yeah, 3 perimeter circles, 2 in each.
Mm. We
That one
did
I don't think we've done. Have we done that timed? Because that's
I
another
don't
thing, is
remember.
he times different exercises, and then the qualification is timed as well.
Okay. So our final practice, or our final, what do you call it, drill, and that was where the competition was a 3 targets. They were actually pretty, they were, I can't actually be on camera. They were pretty far out, left and
Right.
right, and then center. So
Okay.
you actually had to move your, you had to move your, this is pretend gun, pretty far left, center, right, or right, center, left, or
Hmm.
left, right, center, whatever you wanted to do. And the idea was to use your hips, your knees to pivot and keep your like shooting posture right, versus like pulling off to this side, pulling off to this side, and pulling off to this side, and turning. You see what I'm saying? Like actually keeping your shooting posture the same and moving from target to target.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and then it was also cadence. It was two. You were supposed to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and like kind of keep it as if the same gap existed between all shots, which also just added an element of like thought process of something you're having to process. So you're not going pop, 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 but actually pop, 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 just to kind of have a smooth rotation of the targets.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know that that was like based on any scenario so much as just you're having to basically acquire a target all anew for each one of those, versus
Hmm.
just putting 6 rounds on the same target that is probably not going to stay in that position anyway in real life.
Right.
Even if it was one target, it's probably going to be at 3 different positions if you're going to shoot 6 rounds at it. So I thought it was a good time. I liked it. I'd
And
like
you
to.
won the hat.
I won the hat.
Were
Yeah.
you the best one there? Best shot?
So what we did was we did timed from what they called diamond ready. So you had your hands there,
Hmm.
like your gun here, and when the beeper went off, you were supposed to move to your shot, and 2 on each target. And it was, I think you lost a second per miss. So like, and you had to have at least 1 hit. So like if you just went and unloaded your gun on 1, you would lose 5 seconds, but you potentially could win by just getting off your rounds faster. So they
Hmm.
did does that make sense? But
Yeah.
so they did a combination. You had to have hits on every target, and there was just the combination of your number of seconds total and your hits on target. And the targets were silhouette targets with a 6-inch circle right in the middle, on the chest.
Yep.
And the range, a couple of us did it twice, but I would have won with both of my times because I was 4 point something with 6 hits for the first one, and I was 3.4 with the second one. And the slowest, and I hope my brother Michael doesn't watch this, but the law enforcement agent was like probably the 5th fastest out of 7 guys. And I was
Classic.
like typical, like exactly what you would. But he's like a sheriff. He's not a
He's not a
beat
real
cop.
cop.
He doesn't. He qualifies. He even said, "I qualify, and that's it." But you're going into it thinking like, oh, the law enforcement guy, he's gonna have shot 1,000 rounds a month for the last 30 years.
Right.
Ain't no way he's gonna be getting smoked on this thing. But the range, I think the slowest guy was like 7 point something and only 4 out of 6 hits or something. So everybody had pretty good, like everybody was pretty good on target generally. And a miss wasn't like a center of mass miss. It was just the 6-inch circle.
Did everyone have their own pistol, or were they everyone using the same thing?
So no, and that's the other unfair thing. I had my pistol, which I've shot at least 100 rounds through before that day. And I brought pistols, and 2 other guys brought pistols to share with all the guys that flew. One of the guys that flew brought his pistols. Another guy that drove from Oklahoma brought like a whole bunch, and I brought like 4. I actually took Darcy's Glock 26 and my Taurus, and then 2 daggers. And I don't think anybody used any of those 4, actually, now that I think of it. I used my dagger, but there was a guy with I forget which SIG, but like one of the concealed carry SIGs and an appendix
365.
holster, maybe a 365. And so like one guy grabbed it because he's like, I've been thinking about buying this and wanted to kind of see what, how that gun ran. And then you had some XDs and a couple Glocks, multiple SIGs, multiple Glocks, a Springfield XD, and then and multiple SIGs, 2 or 3 SIGs. So
all those guns
everything.
And none of those guns shot anyone?
None of them shot anyone. And we ran
How's
through
that
like
possible?
1,000 rounds of, I think
That's not
7 guys
possible.
ran through close to 1,000 rounds of ammo in 2 hours. So, yeah.
Wow.
And honestly, we probably could have gone through more, but guys would just be over there kind of plinking away at loading, and the guy that was instructing would be like, all right. So I was just sitting there with like 6 extra mags, and nobody was using them. And so I was just always ready, and I was like, I'm ready. Let's keep going. And people be over there loading their mags up. Guys, it's hot down here.
Those
we
guys
need to
only
get
have
this.
1 or 2 mags.
Well, they had more mags. That's the funny thing. Like there was plenty of mags laying around. They just weren't. They would just wait till they ran out and they'd go load them all instead of just like loading a mag every time they left the line. But yeah, it's good. It's a good time.
Sounds fun.
I'll tell you one drill that I think helped me dramatically, because initially, we did a drill for shot anticipation, which is like you're shooting and you fire and then you like lean into the next shot, and so you actually kind of like push the round down and right or down left. I would shoot a shot on target, and then my second shot would be like down and right. So like I'm like anticipating down and right. And he had this drill, which he said it didn't help him, but they did it and other people thought it helped him a lot. Where the instructor is like right here by your head. And you pull out the slack in your, are we going to get banned from YouTube because I'm doing a gun hand?
For using the
Yeah.
handgun.
A handgun?
Just don't point it at your head.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you pull the slack out, and when you get the slack out and you're aiming and the shot breaks. So shot breaks and the instructor yells off and then on. And what he's saying is like finger off the trigger and then back onto the onto the reset. And then he says easy. And then when the shot breaks again, he says off and then on. And for whatever reason, if you're listening for him to tell you when to do those things, it's like it distracts you just enough that you don't anticipate the shot. And so I went from like, in just like 2 drills, probably 20 rounds, maybe 5 rounds for a drill 2 times. And then like the next 10 rounds were this drill, from like shot low, and like 3 to 4 inch groups, to just like with him yelling that in my ear, just like chiseling out the hole bigger and bigger as I'm shooting through a magazine. It was the weirdest thing. And we're talking 7 yards. But it was just weird how it, like, having him yelling that thing in your ear and you're thinking about your trigger pull and your reset and then breaking the shot and then letting off, coming back to reset. I don't know. I think it was a very useful drill. And I mean, I don't know if it sticks, but probably something worth
Well, it would
going
stick
through
if you had him yelling in your ear every time.
Well, and that's what he said. Eventually people will like think about that. They'll think about, like, that's what they'll be telling themselves in their head. And they're thinking about that instead of the shot, and they can shoot better. I don't know. It worked.
Interesting. I've
Made
never
my
tried
shooting
it.
better. I had never even heard of it.
No.
But
Cool.
yeah. So I think, like, besides just hanging out with dudes, talking about life and everything, that was probably my favorite part of the weekend, was shooting. Getting
Nice.
learning some drills. He left us with notebooks, or, just like a printout of drills that we did. And yeah,
That's cool.
it's a good time.
Yep.
Do you have a range set up out there?
So, where we did the survival camp for the kids?
Yep.
Right now, that creek bed is just completely dry. So we just went down in the creek bed and we went 4 wide, like maybe 8 feet per lane, and just shot back into one of those big embankments.
Oh, that works.
Right below where we did that camp out 2 years ago.
Nice.
It wouldn't work if it was all wet, but I could put up something where we could still shoot into the embankment that wasn't in the water, but I didn't have to mow that because that creek bed is all shale kind of rock. So I did get one fragment that hit me like right in the cheekbone there, because we were shooting, what is that? Limestone? Like limestone
just took
rocks
one
are back
fragment
there.
to the face. It's no problem.
I'm gonna have my eye pro on. But yeah, I did take one piece of like something that came back off of that rock and it didn't break skin or anything. It wasn't a bullet, but it hit me and I was like, ah, oh.
Remember that one time I shot you in the leg at Wes's house?
Only one time? Are we talking about this one?
Which one time are we talking about?
Are we talking about
Yes.
that
That one. You do remember?
I do remember. I don't remember the details around it, but I remember getting slapped right in the next to the gonads with something. What were you
That
shooting? Was
was
that AR?
that was surprising. Yeah, I was shooting an AR, and I was shooting at an old shot up propane tank.
Mm,
And I think we figured that a chunk of the valve came back and nailed you. But
yeah.
we were probably shooting about 40 yards or so,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just like boom, snap, and it got you right then. Like it was so fast. It was so fast.
Yeah.
And it for sure seemed like something
I can still
bad
kind of
had
feel
just
where
happened.
it was, to be honest. Like, because, like, if I put my finger right where I feel that story,
Uh,
there's only like this is where I feel it, and this is my left testicle. So that's where I feel
That's
that
close.
story right there.
yeah,
You
And you know my
if
nickname, right?
old cotton balls.
Old cotton balls. It don't take much to take me out of commission.
cotton balls.
Uh,
What's
I,
the
I
story
never
on cotton balls?
I never
I
can remember what that movie is. There's a movie. It's like
I don't
Ben
know.
Stiller or something talking about old Uncle Cotton Balls or something. I can never figure out what it
I mean,
was.
I'll just say this since nobody watches this podcast, I think like every 6 months I have like a man period where I feel like I got kicked in the junk, but I don't know that I did. And I'm just like sore. And then you don't ever have that? Nobody else ever has that? That's just me?
Never.
And they're just super tender. It's 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 bad. I don't know what it means. Maybe I have cancer or something.
It means you got them
Maybe.
I
cotton
don't
balls.
I don't want to know. Do I have cotton balls? That's what I mean. Like I
Yeah.
just got like it's just whack, and then I'm out for a day. It's just like,
No, I've
ugh,
never experienced that.
what?
Oh man.
Never?
No, I
You've
don't know what
never
you're talking about.
experienced you've never experienced feeling like you got kicked in the junk for more than like the time that you got kicked or
I would say it lasts at maximum 10 minutes.
okay, I've had that feeling for like a day 20 times in my life. Like I
No,
don't even know
never.
what the deal is. Like I'm just like, oh man, I just feel
I think maybe you're touching yourself too much.
cotton balls. That's what it is.
Huh.
I don't think that's what it is.
Hmm.
What about you,
Oh,
Darcy? You ever have
you
the
ever had that?
testicle pain last for more than 10 minutes?
I have, but it's
Really?
not been like more than like a couple times,
But
not
like
20 times.
for like extended period of time though, right? Like just
Yeah,
like
I
bruised or
have.
something.
It feels like you've been kicked,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
up into your stomach,
Like
Yeah.
you talking like you pulled a groin muscle or something?
but nothing
No,
happened.
like
Like you just
nothing
wake
happened that
up
you're aware of.
and your nuts hurt.
Nah, dude, that's crazy.
But it's
Must be
only happened
nice.
to me like twice in my
I
life.
bet I bet once a year in my adult life I
Mm.
have a day where I'm just like, oh man, yeah, like
When's the last time?
within the last 3 months, I had a
I
day.
think
I
they
had a
call
couple
that blue
days
balls.
that, I'm gonna be honest, that doesn't. There's no relief. Let's just put it that way. There's no relief.
It still hurts.
It still hurt. It do- it doesn't. Yeah, no, it doesn't help to. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say
Oh
anything more
man.
about it, but it doesn't. It doesn't decrease performance. It just super tender. Yeah,
Bummer. Sorry about
yeah.
that.
I'm not gonna lie. It really sucks because you have to pretend like you're alive, like everybody else is alive, but you're walking around with just this like, oh man, I feel like I just got kicked in the Jimmy. I mean, in the sorry, Jimmy.
I've been kicked in the Jimmy
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
No, dude, that does not sound familiar to me.
Mm.
Mm. Dan,
So I got a self. Yeah. Go ahead.
were you late joining the podcast because you were engrossed in the presidential debate?
I'll tell you my experience with the presidential debate.
Okay.
I I got home late, and Sarah said, "Oh, you know, it's a presidential debate tonight." And I was, or she said, "You know, the two people are doing a debate tonight." And I was like, "What two people?" And she said, "You know, the the two people that we deserve to have as running for president." And I'm like, "That's tonight, huh?" Um, Judah has to watch it if he wants extra credit in a class in school.
Mm.
So I heated up a couple of hamburger patties and I went up there and I sat down and I said two things as I was listening to the VP talk. And Judah was like, "I have to do this for school." And I sat down and I listened to him tear her down and yammer about something, and then her hurl accusations back. And after 1 3 minute exchange and him not letting me vent because he needed to focus, I stuck my earbuds in and I started watching Instagram or, YouTube shorts. So I was in the room. I was in the room for it. But I'm going to be 100% honest. I am not a fan of our system right at the moment. I think that our parties need to, I think that our political parties need to die a swift and painful death so we can figure out what to do next because this is ridiculous. And I'm sorry if
Pretty
you
awesome.
guys, I am sorry if you guys don't, you're really like hardcore fans of what's going on, but I just do not think that we should take ourselves seriously with the two people that supposedly we've chosen to potentially have its president. It's just
Mm.
it's absurd to me at the moment. I listened to them whine and bitch back and forth like little girls about this and that and the other. And the other thing is like, um, did you guys watch any of it?
I did.
Okay, so
I
my take
watched
is this.
maybe 10 minutes.
Right off the bat, I before I even went up, I said to my wife, like, I bet they did everything they could to give Kamala the advantage in this debate. And I got up there, and it's a debate in a freaking empty room with no people and two candidates and two interviewers or whatever.
Hmm. Hmm.
So right off the bat,
Moderators.
that they pushed her that on purpose because old Trump feeds off of audience feedback to what he's saying. With no audience feedback, he doesn't get into any kind of a like storytelling, or do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I
Hmm.
like the guy. I'm just saying like I know what he needs to be successful, and they removed all of those elements on purpose. I'm not saying I'm a
Yeah.
fan. I'm just saying I can see it. That's my
Right.
take. Was that enough of a take? Is that what you were looking for, Darcy? Did you want me to make us unpopular?
Oh, hey, we're already unpopular.
I mean, what do you think about that? Like, agree, disagree? What do you like? Am I just making that up? Am I just bullshitting right
Um,
there?
I missed a decent amount of it. I was in the shower for part
I
of
missed
it and getting
all
my
of it
kids to
except
bed
for
for part
one
of it.
exchange.
But
I think if you saw one exchange, you saw the entire thing.
so I will probably try to watch the rest of it just
Hmm.
because I have suspicions, but I don't want to be another person who just spouts off what I think that I saw in one exchange and just blanket the entire thing with that. I did,
Hmm.
and well, so here's the specific thing I'm talking about. I did see them fact check Trump twice.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Like just say the thing that you just said is not right. We talked to so and so, and that's not that's there's no evidence of what you just said is true. So I obviously there's still a part of humanity I think that hopes that a journalist would fact check both candidates.
Both. Yeah,
But I'm doubtful.
I'm doubtful of that
Um,
as well.
so yeah, when we started before you jumped on here, I told Jimmy that in when I was watching it, I was thinking two things. One, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. Nobody watches this anyway, so we can just rehash the first part of it.
Hmm.
Uh, so I was never in debate in school or anything, but I feel that I have a rudimentary grasp of what debating is. And I would think, like is as my understanding goes, a debate is essentially two people speaking on speaking to the facts and merits of a specific topic. And the person who's going to come out on top has prepared more and better knows the facts of said topic. And if that is the case, if that is what a debate is, if a debate is a not personal, like not um, tactical, like it's not tactical, it's not like an attack, but it is a the grasp of a topic at hand and the facts
Hmm.
of the matter. If that's what a debate is or should be, I said I wonder when the last time there was a, and I use the word respectable debate that happened in our like presidential setting. Because
I mean, I
this is
would
just what it
offer
is.
that I would offer that it was before. I mean, believe it or not, I would say that it was before. Um, who am I thinking
Creation.
of? No, it was prior to Kennedy versus. Oh shoot! Why am I losing? Why am I missing his name? He got impeached. The only one to get impeached. Who got impeached? President Nixon. Nixon.
I
Uh,
don't.
Okay.
yeah.
Kennedy versus Nixon. was decided more or less by the fact that Nixon looked bad on TV, which was a new medium for debates. Previous to
Mm-hmm.
that, they were on radio, and nobody
Yeah.
had to worry about how they looked, how sweaty they were, anything like that. It was the words that you were saying and the way that you were presenting them. TV
Yeah.
came, and Nixon did not understand that you needed to do makeup, you needed to not be sweaty, you know, the whole gambit of how to present a unified. And Kennedy just blew him out of the water by just being more eloquent and more presentable on TV and looking good. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that the showmanship is ever not in a debate of that type. But at that point, it became less about the ideas and more about how well you could package them. That I mean,
Yeah.
so it's
But
before that.
okay.
At best, it's
But
before that.
can you even remember? Yeah. Before. Yeah. Sure. Before that. And then my next question was, do you think that that we will ever see a a real debate ever again in this
I
country?
well, here's the thing, because so if you like, I listened to a podcast years ago where a person was talking about their debate history in school. And one of the big things with debate is in high school and college is that you need to know the other person's positions and be able to argue the opposite positions equally well to arguing your own positions. And if you can argue the opposition position and your position better, both positions, logically by the actual laws of logic, you can argue both sides, either side. They will show up to debate competitions, and they will literally be like, you're going to argue this side of the debate. You have to hold these positions. They're going to hold these positions, and they can interchange, and you can win in either case because you know that, like you're saying, you know the positions, you know the realities better than the other person, and you can better present the counter arguments and the arguments than the other person, because you in your mind can take either side and you can argue it equally well, and the other person can take either side, but fundamentally they cannot persuade with the argument that they put up against your argument. You have to know which argument to put up against which argument, and it's called rhetoric, is what the study of rhetoric is what you're looking for in a debate. And
Uh,
they
the term
they weren't
persuade is a
doing
good term because
they weren't doing rhetoric, because
there's no persuasion happening in any of
because
these
I'll
modern
tell you what,
presidential debates.
but like here's the thing, like in a debate, you take what the other person said and you go, okay, I need to apply the basic idea of reason to what the other person said to prove them wrong. So like the only part of the debate that I saw, Kamala Harris was asked about Israel and Gaza. And Kamala Harris presented all of the things that need to be done,
Hmm.
that we need to mitigate the loss of life on the um, the Gaza side, on the non-Israeli side, which is the Palestinian side. We need
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
protect Israel's right to defend itself. We need to. So she presented all of the facts as her answer. But the problem is,
Yeah.
you're in charge right now, and you effing haven't done anything about those facts. So You presenting those facts as facts to the majority of Americans is like, she knows the subject matter. But to me, I'm listening to it going, you're in charge. What are you doing at a debate saying these are the things that need to be done, and we're not? All the opposition has to do is simply say, you've presented all of the problems that we all agree need to happen. We need to mitigate civilian life, loss of life. We need to preserve Israel's right to defend itself. We need to this. We need to this. We need to make sure there's humanitarian aid that doesn't go to terrorists. How? All you have to do as Trump is simply say, how? You guys are in charge. How are you doing that?
Mm-hmm.
You're not doing that. And he couldn't. He couldn't simply just like say the
No.
minimum amount to say, okay, you presented all the facts and we all agree on those facts. So
Right.
what is it you're doing? By the way, you're not doing any of those things that need to be done to accomplish the goals that you set forth and we all agree on. He didn't need to say more. He needed to say, the question isn't what the subject is how are you going to fix it? And you guys are in charge and you're not fixing it. That's debate, is to say the minimum words possible to get the class to understand that the person who's saying the right things hasn't done the right things. Like,
right.
He didn't. He just like went off and mouthed off and said that they hate Israel and blah 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 blah. And it's like, dude, you've said too much. Stop.
Mm-hmm.
Just stop. Do I seem irritated?
Yeah.
You seem like normal Dan to me.
Normal Dan? Okay. Hey Jimmy,
man.
one of the guys at the men's camp out brought this and gave it to me. Oh,
I
You
can't
see
see it. I mean, I see a
Can't-
bottle, but I
Bakers.
can't. Baker.
okay.
It's 7-year.
Oh, okay, yeah. I see Baker's now.
Baker's 7-year, and on my particular bottle it says 7 years, 3 months. So, we're kind of from a Christian quasi-teetotaler background. Seven guys drank that much bourbon in an entire weekend. There was only one bottle that got opened, which I thought was kind of curious because, you would expect, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, you'd think boys on a weekend getaway would put more bourbon down than that. But anyway.
Are you talking about hunting camp?
No, I'm talking about this last weekend. No, I'm not talking about hunting camp.
Okay. Just wondering if that's what you were talking
We'll
about.
see. Yeah.
There's usually more than one bottle of bourbon at hunting camp, isn't there?
Usually.
I'd say.
Okay, so
5-ish.
I'm gonna. Would you say Jimmy or Darcy's more bourbon? What would you say? Doctorate level bourbon people.
Oh.
Similar?
I mean, I'd say it's similar. I feel like Darcy's maybe a little more educated than I am.
Oh, really? Okay, so Darcy,
don't know.
don't answer. You already gave the answer.
Okay.
I took a swig of that, and I thought that was some of the like richest bourbon that I've had. Like full-bodied but very sweet for a 7-year bourbon. But I took it on ice. And I took just a little dab of it later after the weekend was over, and it was not nearly as sweet, not on ice, just like a little bit clean.
Mm-hmm.
You explain why that is. Is it just a difference in my palate from moment to moment, or is it the ice? What's your thoughts on it? Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, and that's a pretty common thing, I think. I mean, anytime you
Is it?
add water or ice to whiskey, it changes the flavor profiles, brings out
Does
different
it
things
use
that are in that specific whiskey.
sweeten usually, or just
It
make
could
a
be. It
sweeter
depends on the whiskey, and it
tone?
depends on you.
Okay.
So one of the things that it does is it cuts the alcohol, and the
hmm
alcohol can mask some of those flavors. So that is easily why you would taste a sweeter flavor with water.
Okay.
What's the alcohol content on that one?
53.5.
That's a high proof. That's a hundred
Yeah,
and
I mean 106,
107 proof.
107.
Mm-hmm.
that's so put so a, a little bit of water with that is still going to leave you with a most likely. I mean, it depends on the beginning of the drink versus the end of the drink, I guess. Also, but it's just going to open it up a lot. It's going to pull.
Is that a bourbon?
Yeah, it's a single barrel Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It's
Yeah, I mean
actually
I'd
a
say that makes
James.
good sense
It's a James B. Beam, Jimmy Beam,
from their
bottled and
distillery.
distilled. hmm Which aren't they just kind of like typical stuff? Not usually. They're usually like, I always think of them as just like blended Jim Beam.
Jim
Is that the
Beam.
same Jim Beam? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but they have a lot of labels.
Smells good. I mean,
So you liked
it's
it?
pretty good stuff. Yeah, I like it.
So did you prefer it on ice or neat?
I don't. I only took like a little sip of it. I only took a tiny sip of it neat. Um, I prefer it on ice. It's still pretty sweet though. I think
I
I like it
always
on ice better
enjoy
though.
doing a whiskey tasting and then, tasting it neat, tasting it with water
The
and then
same drink.
comparing the same drink and
Hmm.
comparing the differences in the flavor.
hmm
Yeah, yeah. When we do whiskey tastings downtown or wherever, they always give you water and explain the
For
option
hmm
to use it in the drink. And they generally will encourage you to don't put
try
water in
both.
it right off the bat, but they
Right.
don't discourage you to do it after you've
hmm
tasted it straight.
I got a lot to learn, don't I? About about this whiskey thing.
Hmm.
Sounds like
There's
it.
there,
It's worth it though.
but yeah, it seems good. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know that I like it better than, what did I send you a photo of that my friend Josh brought over that we tried? It was
Weller, I think.
something. It was from, well, he gave me that Weller,
Oh
but
no, did you had some
it was
Blantons?
I think it was
Hmm.
Blanton. Is it Blanton's
Yeah,
from
it was
Buffalo
Blantons.
Trace? It's
Had the horse on the
Yes.
yeah.
top.
hmm
Yeah, that's
That
Blanton's.
was, I think that was real good stuff. I thought, but then I don't
The original
remember
single
how
barrel.
things. I don't remember. Oh, is it? It's
That's
the
what they
That's what
claim.
original
it
single
says.
barrel. Hmm. Okay. Oh shoot, it's 11:43.
Hmm.
It
You guys
is.
been on for? Is it? Have I been on for an hour and seven, or have you guys been on for an hour and seven?
I've been on for an hour. What? More than an hour and 7, like almost 2 hours.
Yeah, let's see. I can't really
About
tell
five.
because
We've been on for about 5 minutes short of 2 hours.
yeah, we were on for about 50 minutes or so when you came on, Dan, I think.
Okay. Has anybody else watched our podcast while we've been dinking around?
No, nope, zero,
Nobody?
I think they
zero
were all
views.
watching the presidential debate, and then they
Yeah,
got
it's
tired and went to
tonight
bed.
was yeah, tonight was probably a
We had
bad
stiff
night to
competition
gauge.
tonight.
I'm surprised we didn't end up with like thousands of followers tonight after seeing what I saw. I mean,
Right.
seriously.
So like we gotta go find
Uh,
that
we gotta
podcast you
find
boys are doing.
we gotta
We gotta
find
find somebody.
anything.
We gotta find somebody who knows something about the world. Let's see.
These guys are
I'm gonna
talking
go to
about
the
whiskey
page.
and fishing
And barbecue. Who
and
doesn't like
barbecue.
those three things?
Shoot.
Well, somebody's watching. I'm watching now.
Oh yeah. Oh, let me go back.
Thanks for tuning in, Dan. It's good to have you watching us tonight.
You're watching?
Right now.
Oh, one concurrent view.
Yep.
Well, now that you're watching, it'll probably start to spread.
Yeah,
I think it will
probably.
go viral now. Probably go viral now. There was something else I was gonna say about the weekend. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So our team came together. I bought, this is no joke, and I don't particularly care if they hear about this. I bought like $400 worth of food for the weekend because if you go to Costco and you buy what you think is enough food for like a breakfast, lunch, or sorry, supper, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and breakfast, 5 meals for like 8 guys is what I was estimating. So this is kind of my AAR on the weekend. I bought $400 worth of food because you can only buy chicken breast in like 10-pound packs at Costco. You can only buy barbecue sauce in like a double pack of like huge barbecue sauces, right? So I walked out of Costco with like $400 worth of food, and I was like, crap, because it's so much cheaper per ounce and per pound to buy food at Costco than like our local grocery store, right? So, one of the guys brought all kinds of sausage, eggs, and bacon for the breakfast, and he had the entire Blackstone just freaking covered in meats. And half of the guys on this team are on like basically a carnivore diet, you know, very low or no carbs, no what's in wheat, no gluten. Like they're pretty healthy living guys for the most part.
Sounds lame.
In my assessment. I mean, eating steak every day isn't lame. I don't think. You'd
No,
probably
but
get tired of it eventually.
cutting carbs doesn't sound fun.
It ain't that bad.
I've eaten pizza the last 3 days.
Oh, nice. There aren't a lot of carbs in that.
So we didn't open. I bought chips and salsa and different things. We didn't open any of the chips. We didn't fry the fish because we ate burgers. We only ate 2 meals the second day. I think at the end of the day, for 7 guys, I only probably legitimately spent like $100 on all the food, considering that the other
you
guy brought all
use.
the food for both breakfasts that I used. And one of the after action reports is I have no idea how to buy the right amount of food for a group, because I didn't think I was buying an obscene amount of food. I had 3 like regular sized coolers that were, had a fair amount of stuff in them, and then like one of those black totes with a yellow lid with the dry goods and stuff like that. We didn't use a freaking fraction of that stuff.
Wow.
We used all the burgers, and we used all the brats, and that's it. Everything else we had leftovers of.
You won't have to go to the store for a while now.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, basically I bought groceries for my family. And I also bought things that we already buy for the family. I didn't buy
Sure.
random stuff that we would never use. But I still don't know how much it costs because of that, because all the numbers were thrown off. I don't know how much it costs to do a retreat for guys. But I have to believe, and here's my thought out loud. I have to believe that if you did a retreat where you did a shooting course, you fed people for 5 meals, you provided them room and board, you provided fishing opportunity, and another like PT type course, I feel like that's like, you're not going to get, the average person isn't going to get out of that for like $300, are
Was
they?
this one night?
No, it's 2 nights. It
2 nights.
was most of Friday, all of Saturday, as much as they wanted of Sunday, but everybody had to fly out like midday. So basically just breakfast on Sunday.
I mean, I say you should be probably looking at like $800
$800
a
for
head.
real?
I mean, that's a lot
I'll
of
go for
stuff.
that. It's a lot of stuff. We did a lot of stuff, dude. I mean, I did it for basically free for this one, but they took like a collection and gave me some money. But I feel like it's like a pretty valuable thing. Um, if you were if you promoted it and like did it. I mean, what did you guys know a firearms instructor? Would he come for less than $500? Or would he come, like, what would you guess his
Dude, I
fee
don't
would
even
be
know.
to do his thing?
Would he just be there the one day
Yeah, he would just be there for like half of the one
for
day to do
his
the firearms
his
instruction.
session?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But he
I'll
would have
ask
to
him though.
get there. You should ask him what he would do for like a half day, like a 4-hour firearms instruction type deal,
Hmm.
and how much he would expect ammo. You know what I'm saying? Like how much ammo he would expect to go through per guy,
Hmm.
and what his fee would be. Because I didn't think it would have been, after seeing the other guy run it, I'm like, I think I could take a class and I could give the class probably.
Hmm.
But I would rather, if I'm like organizing the whole thing, to just have somebody who's like, this is what they're there for, is for the
Yeah,
Right.
firearms instruction, kind of thing.
I'll ask
I
him.
mean, I presume, yeah, ask him that. I presume that your church deal is free because they want you guys to be
Free minus
prepped up and
200
ready.
rounds of ammunition.
200 rounds?
200
Okay.
rounds once a year. We do it
So,
twice. We do one that's like a training class and one and qualification, and one that is just qualification. They supply the rounds for the qualifications, which is a 50 round qualification, and we supply the 200 rounds for the training,
yeah,
which that's this one coming up, right? Yeah,
I don't
this
remember. I don't
is
we
it
know.
do the
200?
we do the training course in the fall.
That sounds right. When is the one coming up?
I don't know. I didn't even look. Probably this weekend.
Oh shoot!
No, I don't think it is. I
I
think.
hope it's not this weekend because I busted up my knee real good today, and I'm not gonna be able to get down on my knee very good this weekend.
Uh, what'd you do?
Dude, I don't even know. Like ripped a giant chunk of skin off of it.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It just
I
hurts.
this doesn't have anything to do with that, but I think I got a spider bite or something on my knee the other day while I was doing windows. And I had like nothing going on, and then like a piece of skin like an inch long and like probably a quarter inch tall that just decided to start like weeping fluid that was running down my leg, and then whenever I touched it, the skin just like came off of it.
Oh,
That's
And I
yeah.
was
weird.
like, it didn't even hurt or anything, but it was like festering.
Did and then did it go away? Like, what does it look like today?
Looks like I banged my knee today.
So it didn't
It's
like
like a
get
it's like
worse.
a scab. No, it didn't get worse. It wasn't like a brown recluse type of thing. It just like
Weird.
one day I was like, what is run? I felt like, like you feel water running down your leg, and it was like down to here. And I was like, oh, gross. What? Ah. And I came up here and I wiped across there, and it just like ripped the skin off. And I was like, oh. And then it just did that all day. It was
Yuck.
weird.
That's pretty weird.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, I gotta
All
fill
right.
out my
Well,
report still. Yeah.
yeah,
You
you
got
do.
5 minutes, Dan.
Got 5 minutes to fill out my report. I can do it.
All right.
Oh.
Well, we can shut this thing down. So that's the
I
podcast for this week. Thanks for watching or not watching. Either way, we're thankful
Yeah,
for you.
that's right. Later.
Not your average guys. Over and out.